Yay, call recording is on. Okay, can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, good. And if anybody has questions, if I don't hear you, then just type it in the little chat box. All right. So I guess like just to start, we're going to cover some just Twitter basics to help get your tweets out better. So one of the biggest things, and this is one piece of advice that I actually give most people on Twitter, and it's the simplest way to get your tweet out even farther. Everybody is familiar with @mentions, right? So here's one of the things that a lot of people doesn't know about @mentions is if you start a tweet with an @mention and you don't have text before it, what happens is it gets limited. And this is what I mean. So, like, if I were to send a tweet to Hot Bunny Girl, and, you know, I write, let's see, we'll do Hot Bunny Girl. Say, Hot Bunny Girl, I love you. This now means that this will count, it goes from me to her, and she'll see it in her connections, but all the people who are following me, this won't actually go up on their newsfeed, so they'll miss it. Which means that like the only people who it'll actually go up on their newsfeed are the people who follow me and Hot Bunny Girl at the same time. So this means that like if you have something that maybe other people would want to participate in, like a conversation, they're missing it. So a better way is all you have to do is start it with a text. Even a period will work, but you just change the way that you format the tweet. For instance, like if somebody said, hey, Hot Bunny Girl, what's that, you know, what's the link to your profile? Instead of saying like, @Joe, my profile is, you know, HTTP, whatever. Instead of doing that, other people might want to know that. So what you do is just say, my profile is, you know, HTTP, and then end it with @Joe. So they'll still get it, like they'll still get the notification that they've been mentioned, but now it'll also go out on your newsfeed. So now more people will see it. And what this is called is increasing your tweet reach or your amplification. And that is probably by far one of like the best tricks. It's really easy to kind of go overboard with this. Like some people, when they discover this, will then, instead of starting any tweet with an @mention, they won't start any of them. And let's face it, not everything that we have to say is always that interesting. So try to think of it like this. If you are an outside person, would this be something that you're interested in, or would it be something that you particularly want to hear about? So if it's like just something going, you know, I feel great, not everybody necessarily needs to know that, so you might want to just start it off as, you know, like @Joe, I feel great. If it's something like driving traffic to your site, you're wanting to do this, like somebody asks about maybe a sale that you're doing, say, yes, I have picks on sale, link, and then end it. Another really good trick for, well, this isn't really a good trick for amplification. This is a good trick for understanding, like, if people are clicking and whatnot. Most of the time what you see is, like, you see all these long links, right? So, let's load all these up. So you'll see, like, people have, you know, all of these long links. One of the problems with long links is it limits the amount of space that you can have in your tweet because, of course, you're limited to 140 characters. If you have a really long link, it limits if somebody's going to be able to retweet you and comment back. It can also kind of jam up your tweet and make it look a little bit clumsy, but it also doesn't let you track it. If you go to like a site called Bitly. Let's go ahead and get that. Okay, so if you have a site like Bitly, what you can do is, what Bitly is a link shortener. So what you can do is you can take your link, so like for your profile, right? You can shorten it in here and it'll give you this little tiny link. So you just copy that, right? And then you can use this little tiny link. So now I have 117 characters left for my tweet. So that's pretty nice as opposed to, you know, only having like 80. But also the cool thing about using Bitly is you get stats on, let me see if we can, all right. So you get stats on your link. So you can open up, like when you've shortened it, you can open it up and you can look at, you know, how many clicks that particular link has had. And all right, I know this is going to seem pretty boring to a lot of people, but you know, I'm a stats kind of girl. The nice thing about this is, say you're tweeting and you don't know if anybody's clicking your link. You're not making any sales. You don't know if anybody's actually going there. If you start using things like Bitly, you can track your clicks. So then, if you track your clicks, say you have 100 clicks and 2 sales. You might say, why do I have a lot of people coming to my site and not buying anything? And you might actually want to kind of take a look at maybe how your tweets are written or maybe how things are looking on your profile. You know, because some people, you can also kind of track like which ones are doing better. Like say you run a promo and you're selling some pictures, like say you did schoolgirl pictures and you were selling those, and you look and say, oh, I did those last week, and you have a big increase in clicks. Then you say, oh, you know what? People really like me talking about schoolgirl stuff. Maybe you should try doing some more, you know, maybe you should try doing some more stuff with schoolgirl outfits. It's just a way to kind of start understanding your sales a little bit more, and of course with Twitter, what we're trying to do is help you get more sales. Let's get back to like increasing your amplification. So we at My Girlfriend, we try to scan to see like who's tweeting about us, and so that way we can help retweet you. If you want us to know that you are tweeting, say, you know, you're doing big sale, right? And then you're going to we'll put in your Bitly link, and if you tag us, that will come into our Connect screen and let us know that you've tweeted us, and then that way we can also retweet you. The more people who retweet you, the bigger your amplification is going to be. This is the bigger your tweet reach. And here's something, okay, if anybody is like a big geek like me, this is a great way to see what your amplification is. So let's do, and this will only track the very last 50 tweets, but if you go to tweetreach.com and you type in your Twitter handle, right, and you click search, like I said, it'll take a couple minutes, and this will only search your last 50 tweets, but this will actually give you an idea of how much exposure you have. So like in this case, we reached 156,000, actually almost 157,000 people, Twitter accounts, with our last 50 tweets, and we had impressions of 314,000. So that's pretty amazing. It'll also tell you like who the top people are that are talking to you and things like that. This information is also really good to know, because if you only have a tweet reach of, say, the number of followers that you have, then that means that your tweets aren't getting out to many people. So you want that number to be really big. A big thing people kind of do with Twitter is it's really easy to only talk about yourself. But when it comes to any kind of sales, people love to talk about themselves, and they love you to talk about them as well. So if you're trying to actually reach out, if you're trying to increase like the amplification of your tweets, go out and start talking to people, you know, and don't just talk to them about you, talk to them about them. That's actually the best way to join a conversation. And if you're wondering like, okay, well, how do I find people? Good question. So, say you wanted to, like you're doing a schoolgirl thing and you want people who are interested in schoolgirls, like schoolgirl outfits. You can actually do like a search for the hashtag schoolgirl, right? And you're going to see all the people who are now using that, and see what types of tweets that are going out in regards to that. The other little things like okay, this person, maybe I'll dress like a schoolgirl tonight, to make you tip more. So that's probably a dancer, right? Well, if you were wanting to talk to somebody about, you know, whether you wanted to have a conversation, you know, that would be, you could tweet to her like, ooh, are you gonna, you know, I hope you post a pic, I bet you're gonna look cute. Because you post something like that, she's gonna be more likely to talk to you. Also, and this kind of helps us segue over to, as you can see, there's a lot of schoolgirl happens to be a pretty popular hashtag, but that helps us kind of segue nicely into actually hashtags. So hashtags are a way to search for things on Twitter. Somebody uses a hashtag and it comes up as a hyperlink like that, right? So let's go ahead. You can see if you click on one of those hyperlinks, it'll pull up everybody who is using that hashtag. So we're gonna pick up we're gonna click that. Seeing that, we just clicked on schoolgirl. So now you're seeing like the schoolgirl hashtag all over the place, right? Click on naughty. That'll take us to everybody who's using the hashtag naughty. The fun thing is with this is, one, you can spend a huge amount of time on Twitter wandering around having fun with this. Oh, that's funny. So, but this is also a really good way to see if one of your hashtags is actually good. And I'm going to give you a big one that you'll see a lot is sex space toy. If you have a space between your hashtags, that will not be one hashtag. Sex will be the hashtag and toy will be its own hashtag. The problem is with this, Twitter thankfully has gotten a little bit better with their search. Hashtags were started because their searches were so horrible, and it was actually an internal way to create searches. Now, at least if you do the search for hashtag sex space toy, you're going to find things that are a little bit more along the lines of what you're looking for. The problem is you're not always going to. You will often, you know, don't be surprised if you also come across things for like kid toys and things, which obviously if you're using the you know, hashtag sex-based toy, that's not what you're wanting to do. You want to make sure that you don't get anything with kids, and to stay topical, just make sure to make it into one word. And definitely, and here's one that I also see a lot, you'll see just hashtag toy, like, ooh, I can't wait to play with my toy. Yeah, well, neither can that leopard or those educational toys. So, obviously that's not really the direction you're likely wanting to go. So, one good thing to do is just do a quick research on your hashtags. Like, if you're not sure if it's a good one to use, just go ahead and check it out. You want it, the more keyworded your tweets are, the better people are going to be able to find you. All right.
Hi.
Hello. If anybody has questions, because I'm just kind of talking, please feel free to ask or type them in chat. And we're also recording this, but we just talked about mentions and how you shouldn't start with an @ mention because that limits your tweet. We talked about doing some link tracking, so that way, one, you don't have to have these huge long links in your tweet, so you get more room in there. Oh, actually, I'm going to backtrack to that a little bit. One of the other things.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you
go ahead.
actually.
Say that again. we might have lost him. All right. One of the other good things with using like the link shorteners to have shorter tweets, if you write a tweet and you're wanting somebody to, you want it to be able to be retweeted, which basically you want it to be retweeted, just try to make sure that you leave enough space. Because if you have a tweet that's, say, 140 characters long, or, 137 characters long, right? If you go to retweet and comment, they're not gonna be able to because there's no room. So you always want to leave space in your tweet for a retweet and comment. So stop at about 120 characters. Because this, like, okay, so you see this one? Like, so if somebody were going to retweet this, because what would happen, it would then say, my girlfriend, right? And it would have retweet there. So we only have 21 characters left. But that leaves enough room for somebody to be able to type, like, love that. Now they can retweet it, and your link would still be in there. Because usually what happens is most of the time people put links at the end of their tweets. So if you have, okay, let's say we go like, we're going to go ahead and, girlfriend.com. See how it's all highlighting right here? Yeah, that means that if somebody were to actually put that retweet in just like that, the URL would be cut off. So their retweet would basically have very little effect on anybody being able to click back to your profile. So try to keep your tweets to about 120 characters, and that'll always actually leave room for a retweet. Okay. And then also link placement. So here's another really cool little trick. Your link placement can, depending on where it is in your tweet, can affect your tweet, your click-through rate, by up to 30%. So, if you have the place that gets the lowest number of clicks is a link right there. It's a link right there. A link at the end gets the lowest amount of clicks. A link gets next to the lowest. A link right at the beginning, often the problem with that is it can look like spam. So the best place to actually stick a link, and it's like your click-through rate, is right in the middle. Don't feel bad about like interrupting your flow of your tweet. Just try to do it as a thought, like, oh, she's so pretty, link, I love that bikini. This will also really help, increase your clicks. I think at this point we've kind of given a huge amount of information, and I don't want to kind of ramble on too long. Is there any questions? I mean, we're going to be doing these on a regular basis, so we're going to try to do these every few weeks. So if there's something that we didn't cover, I know this was just Twitter basics, we will go over it again. This is also the first webinar, so I apologize if it was a little bit rambling. But we'll go over some more things like on understanding how to track some of your analytics a little bit better. I'm glad that you learned stuff. That's excellent. Yay! Good show. And I'm going to tweet that. Haha. But feel free to ask questions. We'll post this video up so it can be watched again, and we'll do this again. So, if you guys want us to cover anything in particular next time, then just go ahead and post in the forum. I think we're going to be doing one real soon on engagement tricks, like really great ways to talk to people and get them to talk to you back, because let's face it, Twitter's about talking to people. Well, Hot Bunny, thank you for all the chatting. I appreciate that, and I hope everybody had a good time. And it's nice to meet all of you. And we'll talk later.
All right. Thank you.